All right, what I'm going to do is just spend a few minutes talking about one of my other top 5 favorite things, which is, yes, the females. Recently finding myself single again, it ain't no thing. I'm finally at a point in my life where, almost 34 years old in a month, I feel like I've reached self-actualization. I don't need someone to complete me, have imagined fantasies come true. I'm pretty well content with things that I've participated in, but I've learned stuff along the way. So if you're younger, maybe it's worth to pay attention. Maybe. First off, I know things are hard. They're bad. They're worse than bad. Since COVID, the whole dating field is pretty much destroyed and broken. It's no surprise hypergamy has taken in full effect. Now women will only go for the top 10% of guys in as far as looks, money, and all that goes. Just a benefit if you're a kind person. No fault of their own. I blame a majority of these problems on men and women due to the society that we're in and how extremes things are right now. It's basically like an all or nothing institution. And the whole idea of getting into relationships takes courage, if you even want to go that far. I mean, you have to ask yourself, are you content and feel well on your own? No doubt a partner helps life feel a little bit more excitable, but with that comes with a heavy price. Women, I love them. Okay, no doubt. I love their humor, mannerisms, perspectives on life, their flow, how they can always kind of just adapt to the situation and can either be your best friend or worst enemy. Yes, playing with them is playing with fire. And you best be sure that if you want to start trash with a woman, that you better back that up, because nowadays they are so dominant and I would say almost masculine in that regard that you are fighting with basically an Olympian champ mental wrestler with them nowadays. If you decide to pick any quarrel with them, which I certainly wouldn't do living with them, because you're living with them, so you'll have to deal with that. They adapt off your ways. They're like water. They can flow and crash, and we're much more rigid. We kind of hold them in place, keep the standards right. They hold you up, you hold them up. This isn't me, again, let me reiterate, this isn't me talking down on women or trying to trash them and say this is a sexist thing and how broken the system is. I'm just saying what I've learned along the way. As enjoyable as they can be, they are a load of work. I know you're thinking oh, look at me. I'm a basket case, I require 7-8 hours of sleep, ample food. I have my own requirements, but I imagine in their position. I'm just going to flip the tables before I get back into how this shit works. You better know yourself, because you're not going to meet a perfect partner until you understand yourself basically perfectly, which is an ongoing life process. And you could say, yeah, I'm overthinking it, but no, this is one of the most important decisions of your life when you decide to unite with someone. And again, where they lack in physical strength, not all, some could kick your ass, and some of the men I see walking around here, they excel in mental strength. They are tremendously intuitive and almost come with that emotional neuroticism that comes with that, with being so aware of almost any situation. They're picking up cues and things off you and the environment all the time. They're constantly watching you.
Hey, remember we got that little triple date tonight with my friends, 7 o'clock?
Oh, yeah, could we just, go late? Or maybe, could we try to push it back an hour? Will Tracy calmly communicate how she feels, or lash out with a preposterous question?
Wouldn't it be easier to say you freaking hate my friends?
Whoa!
Perfect, there she goes.
There she goes. Will Trey swallow his pride and go apologize, or will he... No, yeah, it's a stalemate. Great, that should work.
Just going to be real. You're a growing, changing person. They're growing and changing and learning themselves. So it's a big commitment. A big commitment. Let me paint it from their perspective. Like I said, this isn't some kind of sexist response. This isn't me saying men are greater than women. In fact, we're equals. In my eyes, we have the same wants and desires, aspirations, and they will test you. They will test you to see how you react. and call it unfair, but look at it from their perspective. They're having to possibly find a suitor out of the whole litany of god-awful men out there that I have been acquainted with as well. Just downright pathetic, no morality, no backbone men. They have to choose a possible suitor to have a kid with, which I do not encourage having another bottom feeder ever if you are a sane person, which Americans are not. Think about it from their perspective. They want to be taken care of and have affection and have a good time, right? I mean, men are pretty rigid, but we want to have a good time too. They could be your best half or your worst enemy. And most relationships I find are about control over all things. Control over who makes the coffee in the morning, who calls so-and-so or pays this bill or does that and does, all these things. This is modernity. What I'm talking about is the postmodern world. And so you have so many things to juggle and tangle with. And let me also reiterate that over half of 19 to 29-year-olds are living at home with their parents. So you're not meeting them. They're probably in massive amounts of debt. They can hop on a dating app. I'm going to say all my complaints are men's complaints and just field, 20 different guys. You may say that's an advantage, but it seems to indicate that they're going strictly for the top 10% of guys. This has always been around. This concept is nothing new. Hypergamy, it's just pronounced and extreme right now. So what I'm saying is if you're an average, good-looking, hardworking, decent guy who has integrity, you can pretty much just be cats to the side. And that has disastrous impacts on society. So without going back into sociology and just the horrible state of affairs in the dating world right now, like men and women have so much animosity for each other. I'm at the point now where I just need a calm, sweet, docile woman I'm not painting out to be someone who's obedient like a dog. No, challenge is fun. We need challenge, but healthy challenge, respectful boundaries, healthy communication styles. There's so many prerequisites that our society certainly doesn't teach, and school definitely doesn't encourage, so that we can amicably get along, and not have temper tantrums and emotional outbursts randomly at dinner one night at 8 p.m. Suddenly they freak out about something, They're human. We're all human. We all deal with things. And like I said, the chances that you find the right one nowadays, if it has ever been so impossibly hard to meet a woman, I've read these sort of I don't know what you could say, dating profiles from the past, different eras, different decades ago, and it's not uncommon to find men and women in their 30s still looking for people, but there was at least a hope, a chance you can meet. There's less people, okay? With more people comes more choices and comes analysis paralysis. So you have to decide, I'm going to be with this person and really make that commitment. And that's scary for most people, considering you can just throw them back out and toss in another one. But see where that life leads you, which is where we're at now with hordes of people who've gone through serial relationships and lonely people everywhere, men and women, black, white, Asian, doesn't matter. We need each other, and another person can make us feel complete. But it's a fickle subject. It's a fickle thing to co-adapt your life with another person, have personality characteristics that are compatible. I mean, you'll really tell right off the bat when you're getting to know or dating somebody, if we're going there, and you finally decide to commit and have that courage, are they messy? Are they clean? Do they like to go out? Do they like to stay in? Past the music and pets and superficial questions, what is their personality like? How do they manage and navigate the world around them? Does it coincide with yours? Sometimes you don't find out this stuff till months later, which is why I have them take a personality test when I get to know them. That cuts off some of the time, from getting to know somebody and saves your ass. If you find out someone's highly sensitive or high in trait neuroticism, very reactive to negative stimuli, that's probably, no matter how attractive looking they are, that's going to cause friction because there's going to be accidents and mistakes around the house, and you're going to say things potentially rude, or be mistaken, and you're going to pay the price for that, despite however good the intimacy is. Intimacy is fine. Romanticism is great. I am nothing but a Casanova. I love making romantic evenings and flowers, just doing it all up. Like all the traits that women look for, like it's right here. I'm this dude all along. That's not me bragging, talking myself up in some kind of ego. I'm just saying women are kind of masculine nowadays and very headstrong. You can just imagine, ladies, like you can imagine this, men and women can both picture themselves in the other shoe. Imagine dating a woman that was very highly sensitive once a month, a will and strength like no other. You have to come up against there's going to be conflict. You have to come up head to head against that stuff. And it's like, how much are you willing to tolerate? That's the question. How much are you willing to tolerate? And how well, do you get along? What are the pros and cons? Though in the end, I don't know. The way our society is structured now, and with jobs being so transient, hell, like 40% of jobs are contract work. You're constantly moving and shifting to other places. So like, you have to manage that with your life together in the monetary situation that we're in. It's a tall order, okay? This is not easy shit. And anyone who just goes around and like says it's easy, and they're probably are sociopathic tendencies in men to just get and discard, and they don't have any, because they really take into account what they're doing, getting women and bagging them. Like, dude, you're playing with fire, and you're not. You're gonna confront that in yourself eventually. Perhaps I was there in my 20s, maybe a little bit. So, what am I trying to say in all this? It's tread lightly with women. Seriously. They're one of the most gorgeous and dangerous things that you can be involved with. And I don't, I don't take lightly when someone wants to be in my presence. But at the same time, you have to set healthy boundaries and safe distances, and come at peace with yourself. Not be avoidant have avoidant personality or attachment theory. I'm not going to go into all that. Like, once you've worked all that out, you know what you want and where you want it and where you're going in life for now before doom hits us. Possibly, maybe, and you can get lucky. You can get lucky, but man, the odds nowadays with the social climate, financial after COVID, like the odds of meeting a decent, well put together, responsible, sweet, caring woman that's not just battered and tainted by this irredeemable society, you will have struck more than a pot of gold. Okay, you made it. As far as I'm concerned, that's an American dream. It's a life dream. But you shouldn't be asking for it. Really think about it. You're just a dude thrown into this world. Who says that you deserve another person to have a relationship? Like, who says you deserve anything? I don't know. Getting a little off topic. It is what it is. I don't know what 2023 will bring. Who I might along the way. Maybe it might be another 6 years I'm single before the collapse of global industrial civilization. Maybe not. But I just know for certain that I've evolved and matured as a man, coming a long way since my early 20s, where I was nothing but wanting to be just like anybody, to be in a healthy, sound, loving, caring, respectful relationship that's respectful of each other's lives and boundaries. But now, a little bit more hardened, and things have changed drastically. I'm just lucky to be alive, and having remembered some of the few connections I did have with the opposite sex. And I look forward to possibly hopefully just one more. Because too many lovers in your life is not good for you. You've heard that line before, right? Cheers, mates. Happy New Year. I'll talk to you later. See ya.